last week we had talked about like GitHub Copilot and like Visual Studio Code and sort of the setup I had going for using Copilot, but a lot of that centered around like the VS Code setup at JHPCE. And so today we'll be going into the setup for basically that setup, focusing on the setup instead of actually using the AI. And we'll be doing sort of a live demo sort of the setup instructions from going from basically not having VS Code to the full setup. And Manisha has agreed to sort of help with that today. So I guess you can share your screen. And basically, if you go to the RStats schedule, and I started to, it has a link to the slides and stuff. Not the slides, the document that we'll be going through today, which I've just started. It's not complete yet, but if you want to follow along for now, I will have it complete so that if people need to reference it moving forward, that it'll have the complete instructions. But for now, I sort of procrastinated a little bit, to be honest. But yeah, we can get started here. So yeah, if you want to start by just downloading VS Code. So you have a Mac, right? Yeah, I guess we can, sort of make sure it actually opens. Okay, cool. It actually already has the Copilot installed. I guess they started installing Copilot by default, maybe. Interesting. Anyways, for now, we don't actually need to use this yet. So the next step will be getting on the JHU So for now, yeah, you can just leave this here. And then, yeah, so you don't have this installed at all, right? So you should be able to just do the install latest VPN. Yeah, actually, sorry, go back. I don't know why they organized it this way. So on the right, I think in the middle, there's VPN clients. Yeah.
Hey, Nick,
Yeah.
why do we need VPN to log into Gypsy?
So the setup I'm using uses the VS Code JHPCE app. And in order to access that app page, they have set it up so that you can only do it from the Hopkins network. So I use the VPN to get onto the network. Yeah, we had to do this with Cynthia. So if you go into your settings, so I think system settings, and then what was this? I think it was privacy and security, which is towards the bottom. And then I think if you scroll all the way down on the right, there it is, open anyway. It says Whisper lock to protect your Mac, which, I mean, this should be safe. It's not, maybe if you say done and then open anyway, I don't know what. Okay, now it's letting you. The logging onto the VPN doesn't close the Zoom. It shouldn't, but yeah, you can just do the default installation. What did it say? Sorry, I missed that.
Kind of enabled it.
Okay, it looks like it's working.
Allow it in the background.
Sure, I don't know if it needs that. It might. So yeah, you can just hit connect. And yeah, you can proceed. And yeah, now you should need your Hopkins stuff. Okay, cool. So now I guess you can go back to the document with the instructions, and then it should have basically step 4 if you go to the app setups. So yeah, this link is only accessible from the VPN or from the Hopkins network. And so there's a few setup. So we already installed VS Code for this is like the full setup instructions, but we did number 1, so you can scroll down to number 2. I think can you click that link? What does it do anything for number 2 where it says install the extension pack from link?
So, Nick, do you have links to these in that doc you are creating?
Yeah, so I have links to most of the things we've done, like so download VS Code, to download the VPN, to get to the VS Code app instructions. So that's in the RStats slides. Yeah, so you can just hit install and it should open in VS Code automatically. Yeah, and then you can just do continue. It should open it in VS Code. Yeah, that's fine. And then maybe you have to manually hit install again for some reason. So like the blue, I think that's the one at the top. Yeah, okay. So that's one step, and then you can go back to the JHPC app instructions. Yeah, so we can go to number 3.
This development package, the extension is to connect with Copilot or to connect with the JHPC extension?
I think it's to connect with any remote, like connecting through SSH to any destination, in this case, JHPC. Yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. So for this, now basically you'll have to open your ssh.config file in your home directory. So however you like to do that with, I just do it through like VI or whatever your favorite editor is. through like terminal. That's how we did it with Cynthia. And so I guess we could do VI. Do you know VI? Or and then so it's like your home directory, so tilde/.ssh. Oh yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
And then /config. Yeah, so it should just open it. Should it already exist? So yeah, you should already have your instructions for this. So basically just copy and paste that stuff on the left they have there. So basically all of that text. And just, you can keep the stuff there. You might have to use the arrow keys and then start a new line. And then you should be able to use just the command V, like the standard Mac stuff. Okay, cool. And then, so you have to replace the username. So it says like JHPCE username. You should just use like mbars or whatever yours is. Yeah.
Shouldn't this be Gypsy 03?
So right now they recommend 01 again. At one point it went to 03, but now they say like they've gone back to 01. Although 03 should also work. I think they're both okay. And actually, yeah, you shouldn't have the little brackets around it. It should just be, yeah. So you can save that. You know how to save. So it's a escape, and then cool. So that should be good. I think that's it, but we can go scroll down to make sure. Yeah. So now you can go to the. Yeah, I think that's like a little out. Although on the right they have the 01 version, so I'm not really sure whether they have both right now. But we did this with Cynthia, and we know it works. So yeah, you can go to number 4 here, which actually I had in mind as well. But yeah, you can open that link. And then it should be the one on the right, the Access JHPCE apps. Okay, then you'll need to log into JHU. That's correct. You just need to log in. Okay, cool. So basically we'll use the option on the right. They also have like an RStudio version, which I have not tried yet, and Jupyter, which we don't really use as much, but yeah, so this is what you'll have to do every time you log into JHPC. So it's this is probably the only part that's a little bit more inconvenient than the RStudio setup. The rest I think is, in my opinion, better. But so if you go to the right and then you can just select. I mean, for this demo, I think 4 gigs is fine for RAM, but there's a couple different options. Yeah, this is another thing. It goes up to 128. So if you have some like really high memory jobs, then maybe this app is not going to work. But for like day-to-day stuff, this is what you'll do every time you log into the cluster. So if you go a little bit further down, you can just request the VS Code section. And so it has this message that says like, oh, check your email, but you don't actually have to do that. I'm not sure why it says that. You can actually just open VS Code now. And so if you go to the Remote Explorer, which is the tab on the very left, it's like the second to the last little icon on that little drop down on the vertical. Maybe I should probably like jump on Zoom so I can annotate these things, because it's probably not super helpful for me to. Yeah, it's the second from the. Keep going down like 2 more. It says Remote Explorer. Yeah, and so now you should have something. If you go into like the thing that says tunnels, .ssh, there should be one that says JHPC 01 VS Code. Now, if you go to do the little arrow on the right and just click that, not the arrow. Yeah, you can just click it. And then you might have to wait a little bit before. Usually the sessions you get a session within 30 seconds, no matter what the memory is. I've noticed it's pretty fast, but probably by now, if you hit retry, it should work, honestly. Okay, we'll give it a little bit more. And if not, we can do some diagnosing. Okay, just try it one more time, and then if it doesn't work, we can. Okay, so if you go you go to your terminal, just to like diagnose this, and then do like SSHJ to get onto the cluster. J, yeah, and then if you do like SQ to see what jobs are running, SQ dash, yeah, interesting. So it's not even running right now.
Probably my SSH is set to 03. JHPC 03.
No, the 01 should definitely work. So right now, I mean, this is showing that the actual session didn't start. So that's something from their end. You did hit, you definitely hit the request session. So it's still not running for some reason. guess can you go back to the terminal and see if anything's running again? And then after that, we might have to, okay, so for some reason it didn't even start. Okay, how can we pivot here maybe? No, it's not gonna know how to. Basically, right now, I think you might have to like contact, I mean, we won't do this on our stats, but you might have to contact bit support to see why that your session's not starting, even though you've requested one. Because it should show like a job that says VS Code and it should say running. The email shouldn't, I mean, I get if you want, I guess, but it just hasn't started yet, so. Yeah, it's not. I don't know if you could go back to the VS Code app maybe, and then, no, that'll just close it. Do you have any files, like a project that downloaded locally that we could just like with some R code? I don't know. If not, I can probably just hop on the Zoom and we can pivot a little bit, but. Because this is, we pretty much got through all of the setup, and then this would be normally like, we might have to contact bit support, but this should be working. So this is on OneDrive. Yeah. So actually, can you just open that in VS Code? So that's what we can do that instead. So instead of opening. So I guess if you go back to, oh yeah, that'll work too. That's fine. Or actually, you know what? No. Can you go back to close that and then go back to the other VS Code window and then just close remote? And now you can just do like Command O to open like folder, and then now you can pick that OneDrive. So pick the. So I think you can just close that, yeah, and then try it again, basically. I guess you'll have to hit allow before it'll even list any files under there.
Sorry?
You might have to hit allow in that little window just so that you can access OneDrive files. And now it should start listing ID code. And then normally you would open the project itself. So just do that. Just OK instead of opening any R script. Just OK at the project level. Yeah, you can say, I mean, you are the author. So OK. So now if you open an R file, like the hello world, it should prompt you to install the R extension, so you can go ahead and do that. Yeah, it should be this fine. Let's see. I think I do have that installed. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and then I guess you can try reopening the R file. Maybe just close it on the top there, and then reopen it in the Explorer, which is the top little icon on the very left. So you shouldn't have to open from there. I think that actually opens. I'm not sure what that does actually. You can try it. Okay, so yeah, now I should have like syntax completions and stuff. So, okay, there's a couple of things we can do now. So one thing I recommend is like setting up a keyboard shortcut. So if you go to like on the very top of your monitor, like the code, and then settings, keyboard shortcuts, and then if you type terminal run, it should start suggesting stuff. Terminal run. And then actually, why is it not there? Maybe it's that very bottom one. If you just show like run selected text in active terminal. Yeah, that's it. So you can, if you click in the key binding column, sort of like in that empty space in the key binding column, I think that's, okay, that doesn't work. Maybe it's the plus sign. Oh yeah, it is that. Okay. So I do so with RStudio, normally it's like Option Command Enter, right? So if you do that, that's what I recommend, just to keep it similar to the RStudio setup. And you can hit Enter again to set it. I know we can just try that out. So if you open R in your terminal maybe first, sort of to mimic the setup that you would have in JHPCE, since we can't do that yet. Actually, what happened there? No, it would be the terminal in VS Code. So no. you don't need to, because just for now, I think for the demo, we'll be doing stuff locally, even though really all of this should be the same on JHPCE. Actually, I'm curious if the thing's running now. Can you just check one more time? Okay, cool. So yeah, we'll definitely have to contact them. But so if you go to the terminal section and VS Code, I guess press any key. I'm not sure what it's doing. Okay, and now I think the shortcut is Control Shift tilde to open terminal again. Yeah. Okay, and then just open R. So yeah, if you're on JHPCE, you would just do, module load const R, but on here you can just open your R with the R command. And then now we can just check that the terminal stuff works. So if you go to hello world, just so we can just try running a line by using the command that you use for like RStudio, the option command and enter. So yeah, okay, cool. So that's all set up. And then I guess the next thing we can do is just set up Copilot. So it looks like, I don't know if you already have it set up, but no, you shouldn't, because we just started this. Maybe show config. I don't remember it looking like this when I started. Okay, no, that's not what it's doing. That's weird. If you go to the very bottom of the window where it says like, yeah, that little thing, set up Copilot, and then yeah, I guess continue with GitHub. Yeah, you can just do that. And then it does access like a little bit of information. I think just email maybe. And then yeah, I guess you can just open VS Code. To find devices on local networks, you don't need to do that. And now you should be able to ask, just to like test this agent mode stuff, you can say like, what does this project do? Or, like anything you really want to ask it, just to make sure we have this set up. Read the README. Cool, yeah, so it's a simple project, so it doesn't have much to say, but perfect. So that's set up. This will work the same on JHPCE once we do that stuff with contacting bit support. I'm trying to think of I think that's pretty much it. I don't have a very complicated setup with VS. There's a lot of stuff you can do with VS Code. I guess I'll put some recommended extensions. So I also use like an extension called like Rainbow CSV. I guess we can show where the extensions are. So the extensions are on that little, again, on that left tab that we've been looking at a little bit. It's that one it's the one below that, I think, extensions. So why does it look like that? Did you click the extensions thing and it looks like that? Oh, okay. So I guess we can install a couple recommended things. So I guess if you search Rainbow CSV in that little thing, I think if you just, delete that and then, that's something I recommend. So that's so you can open CSV files and it sort of colors the different columns differently. So it's, instead of just having a one color thing, that's something I would recommend. You don't have to, but yeah, it's fine. Let me see what other ones I have, and then we can, that's pretty much it though. I also have one for opening PDFs. So like VS Code PDF is what it's called. VS Code -PDF. Yeah, that's one. It's pretty simple. It just, if you have a PDF file, it just opens in the little editor. So, and let me just see if I have anything. I think that's pretty much it for, once you have R, you have the PDF viewer, you have Rainbow CSV. So that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm not sure there's much more to demo with the opening a PDF or something. So I think that's it. I guess you can just show the Explorer. So that's the very top left, the little, and the tab thing on the left, the very top one, the one above that. Yeah. That. So that'll show generally like at JHPCE, that'll show the files at JHPCE when you open a project. And so basically, I think the advantage, to summarize here, I think the advantages of using VS Code are that you have your files on the left, your editor in the middle, like of R or whatever language really, they have extensions for everything. And then you have a terminal. And so that's sort of in contrast with like the RStudio setup, which also requires something like CyberDoc. So you have to have like two different windows for connecting files and stuff. So that, and then you also have the AI integration on the right, and you can also just natively view PDF files and other things right in the editor without having to open an external program. And yeah, I guess the disadvantage is that using the app server is like, I mean, it's maybe slightly harder than using srun or something with the RStudio setup from the terminal. And other than that, that's pretty much the setup. There's a lot more you can do with VS Code. VS Code's like one of the most, like, I feel like a lot of people use it, and there's a lot of extensions and a lot of fancy stuff you can do with it. Like we showed, I have like, you can even do like, there's that extension for like the speech where you could like by voice command the AI agent on the right to do stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had for today. So, I mean, ideally we would have done this on JHPCE, but the setup is really the same. So it would just be the files at JHPCE instead of the local ones on the left here. But yeah, any questions? I think this was a pretty, didn't do anything too fancy today, but. And then, yeah, I can help later. I mean, I guess either contact bid support or they should be able to just basically tell them that you request a session, you didn't. Yeah.
Thank you. Have you tried to do this in your local without the GH extension? I mean, to use Copilot without use the extension.
Oh yeah, you don't have to. Yeah, I mean, that's what we just did today, actually, right? So
But she's using she's like bridging with the GH extension, right?
the
To work with her project remotely.
yeah, well, I mean, this was a local project, right?
Or this locally.
Yeah, the one we did today because she couldn't connect to JHPC. So yeah, it works locally or
locally or remotely.
or yeah, both work the same. So yeah, really convenient.
Yeah. It's interesting that depending on the setup of each one of the computers, even when both are Mac, here it was like a bit more of stuff, to complete the full setup.
Yeah.
Because really, we did it in just 3 or 4 steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It worked immediately for her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
immediately. I mean, we don't have to do any extra steps or whatever. So I'm thinking that, for example, it should be the same. We're trying to set up in Windows or in other systems.
Yeah, it should be similar.
But
Hopefully.
but mostly the steps are the same, no, right? To install the tools, the remote tools,
Mhm.
to set up the config file.
Yeah.
And then just request the resources that you need anytime that you need to
Yeah.
use Copilot.
Yeah, it should be pretty much the same.
Mhm.
Oh, one other thing
Mhm.
that's important. So you might wonder why, if you've used VS Code before, you might wonder like, why not just use the SSH extension and connect to JHPCE directly without the app? That seems a lot simpler, right? So the reason you shouldn't do that is because that's the way I was originally doing it, and they got mad at me. I learned the hard way basically that it uses resources on the login node. So when you connect with the SSH extension, we didn't show that today, but there's a way to connect directly to JHPCE without the app, and that uses the login node. And that, yeah, you can't, running like compute heavy stuff on the login node is really can bring down the cluster. So it's not good to do that. And so that's why they have the app. So it's just something to mention if people were wondering, like, why not just use this SSH extension that is the general way to connect to a remote host. Yeah, that's the reason.
Yeah, it would be nice that you can like just post this to know that
Yeah,
that there is the main reason why.
yeah, I'll flesh out that Google Doc that's not complete yet.
Oh, okay.
And then that should have everything
Mhm.
for people. Thanks, everybody.